Psychic types are forever doomed to live in the shadow of fairy types competitively, but the one area that fairy and almost no other type will ever surpass psychic in is design. This is because no other type has the versatility of design that psychic types have. Let's take a look at things that other Pokemon types are based off of. Most common is an element like fire or electric, a real-world material like steel or rock, or a type of creature like dragon or bug. These all act as restrictions for how a type can look. Whilst every type offers a diverse range of possible designs, the fictitious and undefined nature of Psychic offers far more freedom than most types. Of course, the obvious parallel is Dark types, which is also an undefined element that's only real restriction is that the Pokemon has to look menacing. But therein lies the difference. A Dark type has to be cool and intimidating. This is why Luxray is so often petitioned to be a Dark type. Psychic has no such weakness. They can range from cutesy like Espeon, elegant like Gardevoir, all the way to alien like BTM. Again, this is because Psychic is such an all-encompassing concept whose only restriction is spiritual. And spiritual is an even looser term than Psychic. It can include the standard telepathy, emotions, magic, outer space wisdom. I'd even argue that Psychic is the closest Pokemon has to a light type. Of course, with this vast range, it allows for the greatest diversity in design possible for a Pokemon type. I mean, comparing Metagross and Jinx, would you really believe that these two could be in the same category of Pokemon? In fact, let's take a look at all the categories Psychic-type Pokemon cover. Mammals like Espeon, birds like Xatu, insects like Orbeetle, plants like Exeggutor, cephalopods like Malamar, fish like Veluza, cells like Reuniclus, rocks like Lunatone, robots like Bronzong, invertebrates like Starmie, whatever the hell unknown is, and godlike mythical creatures like the many legendaries that are Psychic types. In fact, Psychic is also Pokemon's most prestigious type according to legendaries. Now, you may not believe me, but there are more Psychic-type legendaries than Dragon-type legendaries. Initially, this shocked me as well, but then I laid it out in my head. There's Mewtwo, Lugia, Latias and Latios, the Lake Trio Cresselia, the cover legendaries from Sun and Moon, Necrozma, Tapu Lele, and Calyrex. And if we extend out to Mythical, then we're including Mew, Jirachi, Victini, Meloetta, Hoopa, Celebi, and Deoxys. Think about what this says about the Psychic type. It's such a well-designed type that it's the most common type amongst the most iconic group of Pokemon outside of starters. Now, competitively, I wouldn't call any of these Pokemon amazing, but the fact they're more common than Dragon types says a lot about the freedom that the Psychic type allows for. I also don't think there's any other type that can allow for such a huge difference between cute and powerful Pokemon. At least in fully evolved forms, you'd be hard-pressed to find a type that doesn't have at least one adorable baby Pokemon. Having cute Pokemon like Espeon, Hatterene, and Slowbro, yes, look at his face, he is gorgeous, shows the softer side of the type, the soothing and happy Pokemon brought on by the light color scheme and joyful feel. Compare this to the sheer intimidation of Pokemon like Necrozma, Solgaleo, and Mr. Mime, and you can see that the type is also able to tap into the pure terror and vastness of space, creating a cosmic horror aesthetic to the type. Also, and I hate that I have to mention this, so I want to make it clear that the following statement does not reflect my core beliefs, but is purely said to convince a certain type of viewer that Psychic types are well designed, and again, I must reinforce I don't believe what I'm about to say, but Gardevoir, Braixen, Meloetta, and Gothitelle. That is all I will say on the subject. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there are no flaws. In fact, it's widely agreed upon that Psychic types have one of the ugliest Pokemon of all time, Bruxish. And I won't deny it, this thing is absolutely disgusting and I want it to be eaten by Sharpedo. I also don't wish to address Mr. Mime any more than I have to, but he is certainly a blight against all that is good in the world. While I could use this to further justify the range of designs that Psychic types allow for, I'd rather not have a range in quality. The final point is my most subjective, but pink and purple are just the best colours in terms of designs. They are playful, deep, expressive, and can convey so much when used to express different moods and types of emotion. While you most likely have a preference for another type of aesthetic, mine being the intensity of fire and the coolness of dark types, Psychic is the one that has the most applicability to whatever magical creature Game Freak can think up next. While Psychic is by no means my favourite type, from both a gameplay or personal perspective, I really can't think of another type that has so much freedom and expressiveness, with so many stellar designs in so many different ways. I'll be back in 2 days. In the meantime, consider subscribing, and here's a video about how Pokemon saved the regional birds.